Hello, it's Polish Paul VR, welcome to my channel, and it's time to do another awesome episode of PSVR Showcase, a weekly show in which I'm looking at all the upcoming PlayStation VR games, so you can have a look with me. We're looking at the good looking games, we're looking at the shitty looking games, we're looking at the games that are 100% confirmed, sometimes we're looking at the games that are rumored or delayed, sometimes even cancelled, but also we're looking at the games that might be not confirmed, but there is a chance of them coming to PSVR. Basically, I like to keep you updated on the status of all the PSVR games, but most of all I'm concentrating on the confirmed ones. Okay, if you like what you're seeing, then please press a like because it does help the channel a lot, and if you're new to the channel and are not subscribed, then subscribe. It's always better when it's more of us. Okay, let's do it, and we're gonna start from the BIZZARE Barber. The meaning and the message of this game is that you decided to become a hairdresser, because why not? Sounds like a good career opportunity. But you're not just a normal hairdresser, you're not even yourself, you're not even human. What's happening in this game? You are an alien barber, so it's all spacey times, and the aliens got different idea of how the hair should be cut. Because it's not like in human times when you just go, sit down, somebody cuts your hair, you go. No, in alien times, all the clients coming at you all the time, so you have to be fast at it. They come in from different directions, but also they never sit still. They move around little shits, and you have to cut their hair, and you have to do it properly, and apparently it might look even great as for a game idea. Looks like one of those panicky type of games, so you know, if you like your job simulators and vacation simulators and all this kind, you might like that. But also, while you are an alien barber, it's nothing like safe down there, because there is obstacles coming at you as well, and you have to avoid them. But there is some rewards for your hard work, because you'll be able to unlock yourself some special equipment, get some power-ups, and just do stuff like that. So yeah, not too bad. I don't know when it's coming, there is no release date, it's coming soon, coming to all the major VR headsets. Okay, next game. Now, this is a game called Real Combat VR. And all I know about this one is that it is a shooter game, and also that this game is a PlayStation VR exclusive. Now, the developers put out this trailer. I think this trailer is super too early to be even out. When I'm looking at this game, I'm like, maybe you could have waited, work on the game a bit longer, and then show us the trailer, but sadly they decided, well, sadly I don't know, but they decided to announce it now. So it's happening, but apart from announcing the game, they didn't give us any info. From what I'm seeing when I'm looking at this trailer, you possibly might be able to ride vehicles. You can call some air support for airstrike, so that's nice. There's some turrets scattered around the map which you can use. I can see at the end of trailer some two people shooting at each other, so my idea of it is possibly it might be multiplayer. It looks like multiplayer game, but I don't want to say it because I learned from the Warzone situation that even though the game can look like multiplayer, it might be not multiplayer at all, and it might be complete as shit, and it might be terrible. Because that's what happened with Warzone. One of the worst, if not the worst PSVR game ever released. Warzone and Samurai Awakens should just be burned. But anyway, maybe this one is good. Like I said, it looks like it's announced super early. So you know, there is still some time for the developers to work on it. The trailer shows that they've got plenty of good ideas, so let's hope they're gonna manage to implement them nicely. Okay, next game. And now here in the background is the RC Airplane Challenge. I spoke about this game yesterday, and I said, you know, that it's coming soon. It's from Strange Game Studios, and basically what they did, they sent me this footage to show you some more of this game. So this is a flying game, but you're not just flying and looking at the environment and like, yes, I'm enjoying the view, but you have to do some tasks, like in this video, you're dropping bombs on the targets. But apart from bombing, there will be some other stuff to do as well. This is just one of the options you can do in this game. Now, they said already that the VR testing went very nice and Sony was happy with it. They just got few bits and bobs here and there to sort, and then they be releasing it. It's a little, you know, kind of budget type of game, but Strange Games Studio always making sure that the gameplay in their games is fun. So that's what I'm expecting from RC Airplane Challenge. Plus we don't have enough flying games in VR, and I always think flying in VR just feels so good. Okay, now next game is Don't Look Down. This is a platformer game. I spoke about this game before on my channel. It's actually been featured once on the PSVR showcase, but it was the different video. This is a different trailer. Now Don't Look Down is an upcoming platformer game for PSVR. I always feel that I love platformers, and in VR I love them better because they put such a nice spin on them. We've got our traditional kind of like platformers, you know, like Astrobot or Mervilles, and they are great games. But also we've got games like To The Top, which I absolutely love when you're doing all the platforming physically, so you're moving your hands around and everything. And Don't Look Down look kind of similar, but also there is different stuff in this game. There's some objects to fight with, some obstacles. I see some mines, what they can only be grabbed in a special way, I don't know. So it looks pretty cool. Now when it's coming, I don't know, but it is in the development for PlayStation VR. So I definitely will be looking forward to put my hands and head on another platformer. Okay, next game, as you can see in the background, it's kind of look like Ace Combat 7, but this is not Ace Combat 7, this is Project Wingman. And before you get too excited, out of all the games in this video, this one is not confirmed at all. Of course it would happen. The best one of them all, it's not confirmed for PSVR. But also what's happening, I just want to go by the developers' official info. So in their FAQ session, when they've been asked about what platforms the game coming to, they said basically that at the moment this game is a Windows exclusive, but also they said that in the future they don't mind to look at other platforms and different opportunities for more people to enjoy the game. So is there a chance for it to come to PSVR? Well, if they're gonna look at other platforms, then yes, there is. I don't think games like this would happen on PS4 when it comes to VR mode. It probably wouldn't hack it, but also, you know, PS5, it's coming out this year, so maybe with PS5 developers gonna have so much more power to play, so many extra resources, so much awesome time to give for us. And Project Wingman looks amazing, and as they said, they're looking at other platforms. The only console that gonna support VR is PS5. Because, of course, Microsoft went and said, VR, nobody even asked for it, so we're not doing it. And then Sony's boss put on Twitter, sometimes we releasing stuff that people don't ask for because we just want to innovate. So that was the detail exchange. But anyway, coming back to Project Wingman, this is happening in like a alternate universe on a scorched earth. So kind of like Ace Combat 7, even gameplay is super similar to Ace Combat 7. You basically fly in those planes, and it's an arcade plane flying game, so I'm assuming controls and everything gonna be very similar to Ace Combat 7. And only difference will be that this game is fully in VR. As we know, Ace Combat 7 only had 3 VR missions, only on PSVR. PC people didn't got any missions at all. And of course, as great as they was, I super enjoyed them, I love them actually. It's one of the best PSVR experiences. But sadly, suddenly just ended. So you can play same 3 missions over and over again, and they are great, but definitely I think Ace Combat 7 was super missed opportunity when it comes to PSVR, because this game would be such an awesome game. But also what I think, when PS5 comes, I don't think we're gonna see any update to Ace Combat 7. I think they just gonna leave it like that. With their DLC, they just proved that they only care about flat version. They didn't give us any extra stuff for VR people. So I'm assuming they only done what Sony paid them to do, and then they said, okay, well, that's it then. We've done it, even though they've done amazing job with it. But Project Wingman, so the developers said on Twitter that this game coming this year, to PC of course, but then I'm following it closely to see if they gonna announce any other platforms. Now let me know in comment section what you think of this game, and like I said, I want to repeat myself again, this is not confirmed game, it's not confirmed at all. The developers basically said that they're gonna look at other platforms in the future, but they didn't confirm anything, so don't keep your hopes up. but also, you know, I'm gonna have my hopes up. You just stick to me, and once I know something, I'm gonna let you know. Okay, and to end this video, I'm gonna leave you with the awesome new video from the developers of The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Now, this game is some hot shit. I don't know if you watch on YouTube, some bigger YouTube channels had their hands on with the game. You've got those clothes, weapons like Wolverine, and you can just slash zombies like that. So many items to craft, so many ways to kill the zombies, it just looks amazing. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up so you can listen what they've got to say.
If you're a fan of The Walking Dead, either the comic book or the show or both, you come into this game and you're like, oh my god, I'm there. This is it. We worked very closely with Skybound, the creators of The Walking Dead, on this, and really wanted to honor that vision. And early on, these three words kept coming up, and it's choice, decision, consequence, right? That's really the soul of Walking Dead. It's about presenting someone with a very difficult choice. They have to make a decision, and then they just have to live with it.
Sure, there's a lot of zombie killing, and you're putting axes through brains and bullets through eye sockets and all that kind of stuff. But as we all know, what makes The Walking Dead such an intriguing world to work in is the fact that we're still telling human stories.
Yeah, setting things in New Orleans in a new setting to kind of have free reign to tell a new story there was super exciting, and it was a fertile ground to create really awesome stories.
It's about a year after the outbreak. Society is basically completely deteriorated, and whatever's left is the pieces that those survivors need to pick up. But since we are located in New Orleans, we're not adapting existing comic books or anything like that. This is a brand new story told within that universe in a new exciting location. It's gonna have some of the same types of motifs and themes and of course walkers all over the place. But it's going to deal with very different characters and very different scenarios in a vibrant and interesting location. You play as the tourist, who is kind of an individual with an ambiguous background, but somebody who's been making waves, kind of in that oral history stuff that you were talking about, David.
People have been talking about you.
People have been talking, yeah. Yeah. And word about you is getting around that you're an especially effective survivor. You've been making waves in the bayou, and then suddenly you're presented with an opportunity to start on the hunt for something called the Reserve. The Reserve is something that's been fabled about in the wake of the flood, which happened just before the outbreak of walkers. There was plenty of disaster relief supplies flooded into the city, and obviously they'd be quite useful to people who are starving and fighting for survival in flooded New Orleans.
Whoever finds this thing really gets to disrupt the power structure of New Orleans. The themes of the factions is something where we think we're really honoring the soul of The Walking Dead.
In one corner, we have the tower. They live in this high-rise that kind of looms over the entire city and represents what this faction means to the people in New Orleans.
So the tower kind of has this vision of anything for survival. You know, we don't care about freedoms, we don't care about individual liberty, we don't care about culture. Everybody does their part, everybody pulls their weight. It's kind of the mechanization of the human condition. With the Reclaimed, their whole thing is like surviving is not living. Like if that's our vision of survival, then we're just walkers already, right? Like we're just chasing our next meal. We don't care about morality, we don't care about culture, we don't care about anything.
And then, of course, in the middle of all that, we have the exiles, who are the people who don't necessarily fit in over here and don't necessarily fit in over here. And they're kind of, you know, getting pushed around and stomped on. And you kind of enter into this environment where you're this kind of rogue person who doesn't really fit into any of these factions, but you're doing a little bit here, you're doing a little bit over there, you're working with exiles. So, you know, your impact on the world is huge.
The factions kind of represent these different political ideologies, and everybody's trying to figure out like how to organize the human condition in a way that allows us to survive.
So you have this real great kind of palette to work from where, you know, there's no right answer.
Yeah, and then caught in the middle, of course, are the people of New Orleans who are stuck, you know, in between this fight for the soul of the city. That tug of war that's happening is a great breeding ground for cool, interesting scenarios to explore. The immersive qualities of VR, coupled with the inherent fun of skull splitting, like you were saying, in The Walking Dead, they had to be intertwined the entire time. One had to feed into the other, back and forth.
You don't have to choose between skull splitting and story. You can have them both.
Yeah, Exactly.
Is that going on the back of the box?
And that's it, bye.